Hello, you are watching the Pure Passion Biz Podcast with Akua Hinds. I'm your host, Akua Hinds. Today, I am just so honored and pleased to be interviewing John Javier. I have known John for a few years now, and he's just exceptional at what he does. So John has a company named Flexiwork Services, and he's the founder and CEO of Flexiwork Services. He's been working in his field for 3 years, and his target demographic, the people who he likes to work with, are CMOs and digital marketing founders based in North America. John, thank you so much for being on my podcast today.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Okua. I'm always excited to join your podcast. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I'm ecstatic.
Thank you so very much. John, what top factors should a business owner consider to help them decide whether or not they need to hire a virtual assistant? Because you work with a team of virtual assistants, and there are business owners out there who are probably like myself, who have a lot to do, who mainly work from home, but may work outside of the home as well, which I do work from home and outside of my home. And I'm always thinking about hiring a virtual assistant, but I'm just not even sure how to go about showing a virtual assistant what to do. Um, what are the top factors that business owners should consider to help them decide whether or not they need one right now?
Oh, thank you so much. That's a really good question, Okua, I think.
You're
And
welcome.
I love it. So, when I started my business, are a few things that I want to make sure of. Like, in order for me to work hard on this business and in order for it to be sustainable, I have to make sure that it is enjoyable for me, right? So it's hard to run a business long term if you're not enjoying it. And certainly when you go into business, there's certain parts in your business that are not as fun. Maybe like me, I like sales and marketing. I would like to spend most of my time in there. But there are just so many things that I need to do, right? And so that's where it's really important to pick out those things that you like to do in your business, and for others, delegate them. I mean, that will save you a lot of mental space in taking care of the things that you don't need to do. The other thing is what I discovered when I was starting my business is there are just some skill sets that I don't have that I absolutely need to grow this business, right? Some of my team members have specialties in email marketing. Some are great social media marketers, and not necessarily that. And so I think for those other services that you think are not skilled, you absolutely need to have to hire somebody to take care of those things so you don't have to. And we all need a community to grow our business. We're never born with all of the skill sets that we need in order to grow a successful business. And one thing, even if you think you already have, let's say, for example, you're really skilled, you know everything, eventually when your business grows, you will run out of time and energy to execute everything that you need to do to move your business forward, because we can only have so much time and energy, and no coaching technique or mental and mental training technique can help you cope with the lack of time and energy, because we can only have so much time and energy. And to build a really successful business, you have to build a team around it, and Flexiwork can be a really good training wheels for your business to do that.
You offered some really sage information and advice there that I think every business owner should consider, especially for business owners who know that they want to get to a certain level. Maybe when they first start their business, they're doing everything, they're wearing all of the hats. But in order for them to grow and really expand, they need to put more of their time working maybe in their business instead of on their business. So you give some really great tips on how a virtual assistant can make life easier. Um, and now, just to clarify, if for everybody watching, a virtual assistant, if you don't already know, is somebody who is working most likely at their own home location, and they're working doing office administrative work, maybe social media marketing, a lot of other work that can be done at home on a computer, and their clients might be working in their local area or their clients might be working overseas. But regardless, a virtual assistant is helping to run that business with the business owner. And what skills do you think a virtual assistant needs to possess, John, especially if they're working for a client who does live overseas?
Got it. Thank you so much for that question, Akua.
No.
It seems like the word virtual assistant can encompass a lot of kind of skills from different kinds of industries. Like a virtual assistant could be a video editor, it can be a social media manager, and this can be an email marketer. And so you have to be really clear on what kind of service you need, because for every kind of service it typically requires a specialty, and you might want to hire somebody who's really good at what they do so you don't have to do all the training. And that requires you to pick out which one is really skilled and the top thing that you need to delegate. Now, other than that, there's just other factors that you should absolutely consider when hiring a virtual assistant. And some of them is, number one, having really good communication skills. I think having really good communication skill is a very important aspect when it comes to building a relationship. You want to build a relationship with your team member, and you just want to make sure that this person is always on the same page as you. Other than that, things that factor in are industry experience and their organization skills. You might want to try them out on a small project and see how they take up and see how they can cope with the challenges and work from there. So just like every person that you want to train as an employee, there's a learning curve to everything. So you have to be a little more patient, but at the same time, stern on what you want for your business and what are your expectations.
That's fantastic. And one of the things that I would be looking for if I were to hire a virtual assistant, which I probably will at some point, so we'll definitely chat later about that, is I would want to work with someone who takes initiative and comes up with suggestions that would help me. Because sometimes virtual assistants, especially if they've worked with other business owners, and many times a virtual assistant will work for more than one business owner at once, which is totally fine. They will come up with ideas, and whether it's a social media marketing idea, or an organizational idea, or a telephone script, something that a business owner can use to help them enhance their success. And I think that that's part of communication skills, like what you suggested, John. But I think it's very important that a virtual assistant be a self-starter and be motivated. And John, speaking of being a self-starter, definitely a virtual assistant would need to do certain tasks that the business owner is asking them to do, that they're hired to do, that are in the contract, that they all agree to. But are there tasks that virtual assistants should not be asked to do or expected to do?
Well, first of all, when you're engaging with a virtual assistant, I think it's really important to set the tone and set expectations with each other. Like, what are your expectations for your virtual assistant? Are they typically skilled in social media or video editing, if that's a project? And at the same time, you ask, what are your expectations for them? Like, what are they expecting from you? Um, you know, you know, virtual assistants can be highly specialized, and at the end of the day, I think it's really important that you see them as a partner in your business and a friend. Show compassion, and really, you'll be surprised how building a great relationship with your VA can do for your business. So, as far as what you want, well, things that you want to avoid asking them to do, I don't think there's a limit, but there's always an opportunity to challenge them to take on more projects. But that comes when you have built a really solid relationship.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that advice. And I really especially liked what you said about showing compassion. And because many virtual assistants work in a different location than where the person they're working for is, sometimes they just don't get to communicate face to face. And so they have to learn each other's communication styles through the phone or through video conferencing or through emails and text messages. So it's really important to do what you said, to show that compassion and understanding. So, can you please name some of the important things that a business owner can do to motivate the virtual assistants who work for them? Because, like we mentioned, virtual assistants can sometimes not even be in the same city or even the same country as the people they're working for. So, what kind of motivation do you feel virtual assistants need?
You're absolutely right, Akua. Even though the virtual assistants are from a different place or location, maybe in the same country or a different country, you have people should understand that there are actually an extension of your business, and you also want to let them in to your vision. What are your goals for your business? And similarly, allow them to share their vision too, right? I think that's really important as any other employee that you want to bring in to your company. And other than you know having that kind of relationship, it's really important to help them have an environment where they can feel a sense of belongingness, feeling supported and guided. You have to acknowledge quality work as much as you need to correct them if things needs to be fixed. We all come from different backgrounds, different working styles, and really having great leadership skills and compassion can go a long way.
Fantastic. And do you think some of the things that can be motivational is maybe sending a greeting card or a thank you card or maybe having a coaching call from time to time? Do you think those are,
Abs-
yeah,
ab- Absolutely, those are wonderful things. Like, every human would like to feel appreciated, especially for us who's spending a lot of hours working. Like, we want to be feel appreciated. We want to feel that we're making a difference in this world. So those thank you note, gifts, that will be highly appreciated by virtual assistant and every employee that you bring into your company.
definitely. And I was chatting years ago at a networking meeting with a lady who had hired a virtual assistant. She's based in Canada, where I am, and she had hired a virtual assistant from overseas. And she said that this virtual assistant went above and beyond for her, even though the time zone was different. The virtual assistant was working according to um, the manager's time zone. She said the time difference didn't play a factor in the effectiveness of that virtual assistant being there, being willing to communicate, take care of tasks. In fact, she said that she offered to give her a raise many times, but the virtual assistant declined. But the lady I spoke to said, "I don't care. I'm giving her extra. She's so wonderful to me." And so, just I know that sometimes it's hard to know who you can trust, and trust goes both ways. I feel that it's important for a business owner to trust a virtual assistant, but it's also very important for a virtual assistant to feel like they can trust that they're going to be taken care of and treated well. So thank you for sharing that. And lastly, what do you do, John, to ensure that your team of virtual assistants feel equipped and supported? What do you do to make them feel equipped and supported?
Uh, yeah, so Akua, this virtual assistant service, it didn't exist back then. This is just a new phenomenon that there is now a global environment that you could do business anywhere. But there's some things that didn't really change, like people, in the office uh, who were working before the pandemic, they feel they always want to have a sense of belongingness and a sense of community and an environment where they can be safe and they can just be themselves. So one thing that I make sure that my team members are happy working is that I bring a sense of community and an environment where they can all work together, people of different expertise, and making sure that this place that you're working at is a safe place to work. It's a place where they can learn. Uh, they're not uh, they're not going to be chastised if they make mistakes. We're going to challenge them, and it's an opportunity to really do more of what you love to do. Other than that, we always keep up to date with the technology. We always learn new things. I provide them with all of the latest technology that will help them their job become more easy and effective. So two things, technology and sense of belongingness. So those are the main ones that's why a lot of my team members enjoy working in this business.
That's fantastic. And of course, the more supported that a virtual assistant feels, the more equipped they feel. And when they're learning new things, that's even better for them because it's good for them to know. And they can also pass on that information to their clients, which can, of course, lead to more clients for them. And so, John Javier from Flexiwork Services, thank you so much for being a guest on my podcast today and letting people know, pulling back the curtain a little bit so that others can learn just what it is that virtual assistants do, what they need, and what the clients can do to work more cohesively with virtual assistants to make things flow even more smoothly. And so, to all of you who are watching, thank you very much for watching the Pure Passion Biz Podcast with Akua Hinds. You can contact John Javier from Flexiwork Services by taking a look at his contact information in the description box and contacting him directly there. Thank you so much for watching.